Welcome back. This is going to be a fun few minutes because in this video, we're looking at factors that affect the stress response. Now, there are three main types of factors that come into play: social factors, cultural factors, and environmental factors. Each of these can both exacerbate and alleviate the stress response. Let me explain. Social factors are those relating to, for example, our relationships with others. Social factors can exacerbate the stress response, that is, make it even worse, through things such as social isolation and having to readjust to a social situation. For example, if a close friend died, you would have to readjust socially, and that is likely to make the stress response more intense at that time. But social factors can also alleviate the stress response, that is, make it better than it was, through things such as having a good network of friends and having to readjust positively to a new social situation, for example, after the birth of a child. The same sort of thing could be said for cultural and environmental factors. Examples of cultural factors exacerbating the stress response are racial intolerance and being sent overseas against your will. Cultural factors alleviating the stress response include cultural acceptance and finding refuge in a more peaceful country. Environmental factors that might exacerbate the stress response are poor sanitary conditions, overpopulation, and poverty. On the other hand, environmental factors can alleviate the stress response through things such as good sanitary conditions, adequate space, and accessible healthcare. So as you can see, social, cultural, and environmental factors can be both positive and negative when it comes to the stress response. Here is a question from the 2011 VCAR exam. The question is in reference to a case study in which Sue, who's in her first year at university, had to juggle classes, assignments, part-time work, and illness. Were her assignments a social factor, a cultural factor, a biological factor, or an environmental factor? Interestingly, VCAR accepted two responses here. The assignment didn't have much to do with culture or biology, so we can rule out B and C. But VCAR thought that an argument could be made for the assignments being a social factor and the assignments being an environmental factor. So there were two correct answers for this particular question. In the next video, we're having a crack at allostasis and homeostasis. Keep working hard and have a psychedelic day.
Because you know it's all about that wiki, Next video, it's all about that wiki, Next video.